This is Florida's most popular shore dive.
Hey guys, welcome to the Blue Heron Bridge here. Today we're getting out there going for a dive. It looks like a fantastic dive site.
It does. It's in a very unique location. We're very excited to have the opportunity to do this, and it looks like there's a lot of other divers that want to do the same.
Yeah, so Jeff and Sarah here, and we've got Evan diving with us today as well. We're going to hop in, so stick with us through the entire video because we're going to show you everything you need to know about diving here at the Blue Heron Bridge. Now, we love promoting the sport of scuba diving, and one of the things we specialize in is designing custom shirts and rash guards inspired by different dive sites. Check out our Blue Heron Bridge design in our online store. The bridge is located at the Phil Foster Memorial Park, and there are several area dive shops that can hook you up with gear and a dive guide. In total, we spent 3 days diving, or should I say, trying to dive. You all set?
We are all set.
Yeah, let's go. Stick around to see how days 2 and 3 played out. But on day 1, we went on a guided dive with Bill from Force E Divers. The park has several amenities, including restrooms and showers. But as we meet up with our guide, you need to know.
One more thing about diving the Blue Heron Bridge, there are a lot of rules.
Having a dive flag is a required piece of gear, and if you don't have one, you can go rent one at any of the local dive shops.
The optimal time to dive the bridge varies by the tide, and the best time to enter the water is 30 to 40 minutes prior to high tide. You can pick up a copy of the tide tables at a local dive shop like Force E. There are actually 2 bridges here. The Blue Heron Bridge to the west and the Little Blue Heron Bridge to the east. The boat channel comes in close to the dive area, but is well marked with channel markers. There are also white and orange buoys that mark the edge of the swim area where vessels are not allowed to enter. There are 2 main entry and exit points. One to the east, which is where we're starting our dive from, and another entry-exit point to the west under the big bridge. We complete our dive briefing and head under the water. Right away, we can see the visibility is really limited at only a couple of feet. But we decide to continue with the dive. Our first stop is a small wreck that is just off the beach in a few feet of water. But we basically run directly into the wreck because we can't see it. We struggle to find the right camera settings for the conditions, but decide to give up on filming the wreck and head over to the Little Blue Heron Bridge. We're hoping visibility will improve with the change in location and swim over towards another small wreck at the base of the bridge. It's a small power boat and visibility is still just as bad, and we struggle to stay together. Day 1 of diving the Blue Heron Bridge is not going well, so we decide to abort the dive and try again the next day. Let's take a look at day 2. So day 2 of diving the Blue Heron Bridge did not work out at all. The visibility is about a foot, and we decided to call the dive as a result. Yesterday's dive was even about the same or worse there. So apparently 3 days ago, visibility was 30 to 40 feet. You can see kind of forever here. It was a fantastic day. But yesterday and today, just not good at all. So we're gonna punt and try tomorrow. Now the challenge is with the tides. Yesterday's tide was about 3:18 in the afternoon. Today's tide was at 4:25 in the afternoon. And tomorrow's tide is at 5:25 in the afternoon, which is just an hour before sunset. So if we got some good visibility, we're gonna get in, give it another shot, and hopefully make it right out when the sun goes down. Guess we'll find out what happens. So day number 3 out here. We're about 40 minutes or so before the high tide. We're about to get in the water. Sunset's at 6:30, our high tide's 5:25, so timing is critical out here. That's important. But we took a little scouting trip out there. It looks like visibility is improved, so we got about 5 or 10 feet. This is it. We're gonna get in the water, take you on a tour.
Can't wait. Let's see what's out there.
All right, let's go. The main reason to dive at slack high tide, which is 1 hour on either side of the high tide, is because the water is barely moving with minimal current during this time. Outside of slack tide, the currents can be strong and fast. You could also dive during slack low tide, but here visibility is typically not optimal during the low tide. We start our dive moving with the current out to a small wreck. Water temperature in March is 75 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 24 degrees Celsius, and our max depth for the entire dive is around 11 feet, or 3.3 meters. Navigating towards the wreck, we can already see the visibility has drastically improved over the previous couple days.
Our first wreck is located just off the beach here, in just a few feet of water. It's completely intact, including the engine at the stern. There's an abundance of sea life here, including all kinds of reef fish.
Moving on from the wreck, we take a heading towards the center of the bridge. But our ultimate goal is finding a series of 3 hammerhead sharks out there. A pair of French angelfish greet us under a piling as we turn east, swimming directly underneath the bridge. There's a ton of stuff just scattered around the seafloor here. It's definitely darker here as the bridge blocks out much of the sunlight, but our camera lights show the way. Bringing along a flashlight to explore the underside of the bridge would be a wise choice.
Directly under the center of the bridge is this wreck of an old sailboat. It's smashed up between some of the pilings.
Bringing a line cutter or dive knife is also recommended, as fishing is allowed from the bridge and there is a risk of entanglement. During this dive, Evan was hooked by a fishing line. The line broke before it became a real problem, but the hook snagged around his first stage of his regulator and we had to pull it free. Continuing east, we leave the sailboat behind us and head over to another wreck, but pause to watch a school of snook, which is probably one of the fish that people are fishing for off the bridge.
At the base of the bridge is another wreck. It's a small powerboat.
Circling around the wreck, we find a scrawled filefish hiding in the debris. Visibility in this area has really dropped, and we decide to head out from under the bridge to the north in search of another wreck. There's places for sea life to hide everywhere around here. We make sure to check every spot we can. To our surprise, we don't have to look hard when a pair of horseshoe crabs is headed straight towards us. Considered living fossils, horseshoe crabs have been around since before the dinosaurs and have roamed the oceans for over 400 million years. The smaller one in the back is the male, and he's hooked himself onto the larger female with specialized claws. They're moving fast and are on a mission to head towards the beach, where they'll lay their eggs and fertilize them in a nest in the sand. Having good buoyancy control and staying off the bottom is important at the bridge, as there is sea life like this yellow stingray everywhere beneath us. Deciding to save our remaining air supply to explore the Snorkel Trail and search for those hammerhead sharks, we turn and head south, back under the pier. A small spotted moray eel darts along the bottom, and we find ourselves having to kick into a weak current. Another yellow stingray sits on the seafloor, almost perfectly camouflaged. As we're headed back into the current, we're using more of our gas and decide to surface and swim the remaining distance to the start of the Snorkel Trail to the south of where we're currently at. This helps us save our limited air supply and serves as a reminder as to why most divers typically don't explore both of these areas on the same dive. The Snorkel Trail is marked with a series of rocks, boulders, and artificial structures that act as an artificial reef for sea life. I stopped to watch a juvenile gray angelfish swimming around a sponge, and don't even notice until later that there's a giant spotted moray eel on the bottom. Sheepshead are another common fish that call the artificial reef here home. We even find the occasional grouper hanging out, swimming around another structure. We find a huge moray eel swaying in the current. Moving on to the west, we're looking for another wreck and hopefully those elusive hammerhead sharks.
This is amazing. This is our fourth wreck out here. Another small power boat located on the end of the Snorkel Trail. But what makes it really interesting are the shopping carts that are out here along with it.
The sun is starting to set above us. We're running out of both air and bottom time, so we continue on to what we hope are those hammerhead shark statues. Standing 2.5 feet tall and 5 feet long and weighing 1,500 pounds, the sharks are easy to spot.
We finally found them. Here at the very end of the snorkel tour are a series of 3 hammerhead shark statues. Let's swim around them and start creating our 3D map of them.
Creating a 3D map helps us better visualize the entire structure, including all the growth that has accumulated on them since they were placed here in 2015. check out our online store, and make sure to watch another video here at the end. And if you haven't yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button so that you never miss a dive. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time underwater.